In this video, we're going to talk about setting up the sound equipment for a Sunday morning service here at First Baptist Church. This is a big job, and some of it falls on the sound tech, and some of the stage setup also falls on whoever is leading the worship musicians on any given Sunday. What we have on stage here is a combination of some instruments that make a lot of sound acoustically, like our piano, organ, or drum set. Some things that need to be amplified with a microphone, like our singers and some other instruments. We have some instruments that are going to be amplified by an amplifier, and other instruments that are going to plug directly into the sound system using a DI box. We're going to talk about all those things in this video. Here we go. We're going to start with talking about our microphones, which are stored in this wooden cabinet behind the piano. We have several different types of microphones that are used for different purposes. So right here you can see kind of a basic vocal microphone. This would be used for people singing and also just someone who is speaking into a microphone. You can tell it's a vocal mic because it has this kind of pop screen that's supposed to remove some of the plosives and spitting sounds. Up here we have a wireless mic. This one, instead of plugging in with a cable, this one has a wireless transceiver which transmits to our sound booth. This one is also used a lot of times for speaking. It could be used for singing, but we often use this just for someone who is going to be moving around a little bit while they're speaking. These are instrument mics. You can tell they look a little bit different because they don't have that big pop screen. Up next, these skinny mics. These are omnidirectional mics, which means they pick up sound 360 degrees around the mic. Most microphones pick up whatever is directly in front of them, whereas these pick up omnidirectionally. So we often use that if we need to put a single mic inside the piano. Finally, we have a clip-on guitar mic. These mics are different sizes and will need different clips to attach them to a microphone stand. Most of these mics will fit into a standard size microphone clip, but you'll see there is a smaller size for these skinny mics. Here's a normal size, and then also an extra big size for the extra big wireless mics. These will all screw onto the same size mic stand, so they can be used with any of our stands, just adjusting for the different microphones that we're using. Finally, I want to tell you about DI boxes. A DI box stands for direct interface, and that is basically a way to convert from a patch cord to an XLR cable. So say we have an acoustic guitar player and their guitar has a plug-in for a patch cable. We can plug that guitar directly into an amp. However, we can't plug a patch cord directly into our sound system. If we wanted to plug the guitar into the sound system, we would take a patch cable, 1/4-inch patch cord, plug one end into the guitar, the other end into a DI box. From the DI box, we would now get our XLR cable, the same thing we used to plug in the microphones, plug that into the box, and then plug this XLR cable into our main sound system. So the DI box basically is a translator that takes us from a patch cable to an XLR cable. There's a lot of different types of cables that we use to plug all of this stuff in, and that's all stored back here behind the baptism tank. Come on and take a look. So first up, we've got our basic mic cable. These are called XLR cables. You can see there's kind of 3 prongs or 3 holes on the inside there. These are used to plug a microphone into the sound system. And we have our normal length ones, have a gray or black Velcro on them. The blue ones are extra long. We also have patch cords. These are just a 1/4-inch cable. They're the same on each end. This will plug into an instrument, to plug an instrument into an amp or an instrument into a DI box. So we use these a lot to plug in guitars or keyboards or anything like that. finally, we have monitor cables. The monitor cable is also a 1/4 inch end, and this is used to plug the monitors into the sound system. Monitors are speakers that are not used to amplify sound to the congregation, but rather to amplify sound to the musicians on stage so they can hear what they're doing.
So I'm going to show you how to set up a mic on the mic stand. You'll grab a clip, like Max said, that is the right size for your mic, and it just twists onto the top. And then you'll just stick the mic in here. This rotates this way. When you're adjusting the mic stand, it's important that you don't just like grab this and move it up and down, or same part here. You want to use the actual levers, because otherwise you'll wear it out and then it won't actually hold the position that you want it to hold. So for that angle, you'll twist there, and this is for your height up and down. So we're just gonna plug in our mic with one of these cables. So you'll plug this into the prongs on the back of the mic, and it'll click. And then you'll probably want to wrap the cable around a few times to make it a little tidier. Like so. And then we're going to run this wire to the back to where we plug into our soundboard. So each of these labeled ports is connected to the soundboard. So your number 2 on here will be the second kind of channel on your soundboard upstairs. The reason it starts at 2 is because number 1 is actually the pulpit mic. And you probably want to plug these in a way that kind of makes sense visually. So if you have someone on the far left on the stage, I like to put them on the far left on the board. So that way when you're upstairs, you can kind of control from left to right. So I'll plug this person into number 2. And now you can control the volume of that mic from upstairs on the second channel.
So the monitors will plug in using the monitor cable that we showed you. It just plugs into the monitor, runs all the way back to the same place where we're plugging in all the microphones, but you'll see that there's differently shaped ports for the monitor cable than there are for the XLR cables. Most of our instruments are being amplified through the main speakers of the sound system. However, some instruments have their own amps on stage. For us, that's most often the bass guitar or an electric guitar player. So if a bass guitar player were getting set up here, we would use a patch cable, which is our 1/4 inch cable. One end would plug into the bass guitar itself. The other end would plug into the amp.
So the last thing that you're going to need are music stands for everyone to hold their music. So those are back in our storage room, which is down the stairs. And this is also where you will find your extra mic stands and things like that. So at the end of the service, you'll take a few minutes with the worship team to put all the equipment away. Let's go.
We have several different types of cables that we use to plug all of this stuff in, and all of it is stored back here behind the Baptist area